when I prepared for this earlier today, I said, simply the best came to mind. In other words, love, simply the best. It covers everything. And Jesus, in this commandment, really takes our whole self, the whole person, our heads, minds, hearts, our will, our desires, everything we want to do, and he summarizes it in love God and love yourself, and you'll love your neighbor as yourself. And that commandment is one. He makes it one. So if you think about it, if I love myself and with the same kind of consideration, love my neighbor, and pray to God about this, I am also loving God. Loving God reflects my loving myself. Loving myself reflects how I love my neighbor. And it's kind of simple, and that's why I call it simply the best, because it covers everything. It covers going shopping, it covers going to school or staying home from school, as you guys are today. It covers how do you relate to people of different backgrounds, your neighbors, your family. Just think about it, how practical. You got to start with loving yourself. I know you're supposed to start with loving God, but you can't love God unless you love yourself. So let's start with that. I mean, maybe theologically it's important to love, bless you, it's more important to love God, but let's start with loving yourself, because that's the first person you know. Growing up, the first person you know are your parents and your mother and the bond there. So that relationship teaches us what love is all about, because you want everything. All of us do. I mean, just think of being a baby. Can't remember back that far. You just wanted attention. You wanted food, attention, you wanted to be clean, okay? Well, that love that came from our mothers taught us how to take care of ourselves. Food, clothing, appreciation. And as we grow in the family and that love and consideration continues, we relate it to other people, our brothers, our sisters, family members, our grandparents. So, and what does it come down to? Doing for them as I would do for myself, okay? And I never forget, last year, earlier, little Salvatore, my nephew, who was a sophomore then, was studying theology, and he had some questions about it. So of course he calls Uncle Louis up and he asks me some things, and he said, well, I know the first answer. It's what is love? And I said, oh yeah, tell me that. Is, wow, this sophomore in high school knows what love is. He says, wanting the best for the other person. I said, absolutely, absolutely. Wanting the best for the other person. And if you don't love yourself, you can't want the best for another person. So it has to start with me. It has to start with us, appreciating who I am, taking it all into consideration. Even our imperfections, appreciate who I am. I'm not the president, I'm not the Pope, I'm just me. And all of us can say, I'm just me. And that's enough, because God made me. And to show our appreciation to God, we look around and we see our neighbors. Oh, there are other flowers in the garden of life. And I consider myself important, and I consider them important. And that's a tough one. That's a tough one, to realize that the person next to you is as important as you are. And when we do that, we go back to simply the best, with loving God. All that comes together. It's a challenge. It's not easy. Never made easy. And I guess the greatest example of that is the crucifixion. He loved completely himself, and his relationship to God the Father was very important. The last person he spoke to was his Father. So the relationship between God and Son, Jesus, and then he passes that on through his mother and his best friend John, and he sends them out. So loving myself, appreciating who I am, and then showing that appreciation and love to others based on who they are, and together I'm loving God. And all of it, as complicated as it sounds, is simple. Simply the best. Love one another as you love yourself and as you love God.